Team USA's fate in the World Baseball Classic is suddenly hanging by a thread, and shockingly, it's no longer in their control. A team stacked with Major League Baseball stars entered the tournament as one of the favorites to win it all. But after one stunning loss, the Americans are now forced to sit back and watch another game decide whether their championship hopes survive. And the result could lead to one of the most embarrassing early exits in Team USA baseball history. The drama started when Italy delivered one of the biggest surprises of the tournament, defeating the United States 8-6. Italy jumped out to an unbelievable 8-0 lead early in the game, leaving the American lineup scrambling to mount a comeback that ultimately fell short. That single loss flipped the entire group standings upside down. Team USA finished pool play with a strong 3-1 record, which normally would be more than enough to advance. But because of the complicated format of the World Baseball Classic, their fate now depends entirely on the final matchup between Italy and Mexico. In the simplest scenario, if Italy beats Mexico, everything works out for the Americans. Italy would finish the group undefeated at 4-0. The United States would take second place at 3-1, and both teams would advance to the quarterfinals. But if Mexico wins, the situation becomes chaotic. A Mexican victory would create a three-way tie at 3-1 between Mexico, Italy, and the United States. And that's where one of the strangest tiebreaker rules in international baseball comes into play. Instead of using traditional statistics like run differential, the tournament uses a formula based on runs allowed divided by defensive outs recorded, but only in the games between the tied teams. Right now, the numbers give Team USA a very slim edge. The United States currently holds the best ratio among the three teams, with Mexico close behind and Italy slightly worse. That means every single run scored in the Italy versus Mexico game could dramatically shift the standings. Because of that rule, American fans are suddenly rooting for some very specific outcomes. The easiest path is for Italy to simply win the game. If that happens, Team USA advances automatically. But if Mexico wins, the Americans need Mexico to score enough runs to keep their statistical edge intact. If Mexico wins while scoring at least 5 runs, Team USA likely survives the tiebreaker and moves on. If Mexico wins with fewer runs, however, the Americans could be eliminated despite having the same record. And if the game goes into extra innings, the tiebreaker math changes again, creating an even more unpredictable situation. All of this means that Team USA, a roster filled with some of the biggest names in baseball, now has to wait and watch as another game decides their future. The pressure surrounding this moment is enormous because expectations for this team were sky-high from the start. With MVP-level talent across the lineup, many analysts believed the Americans had one of the strongest rosters in the entire tournament. But in international baseball, one bad game can change everything. Now the United States must rely on the scoreboard and the outcome of Italy versus Mexico to determine whether their journey continues or ends in shocking fashion. Because in the World Baseball Classic, sometimes the difference between advancing and going home comes down to just a few runs, and tonight, every single one of them matters. Subscribe and follow us for more of your summarized breaking news.